This is the story of how one of Hollywood's biggest stars, Brad Pitt, walked into what seemed like a routine interview to promote his new film, but found himself at the center of a heated verbal showdown. Instead of a professional conversation, he faced unexpected personal attacks that turned his appearance on the show into one of the most scandalous moments in television history. In this first part, we'll dive into how it all began and how Brad Pitt, expecting to discuss his latest project, was blindsided by Joy Behar's aggressive questions, leading to a tense confrontation. The morning at the View studio started like any other. Brad Pitt arrived to promote his new dramatic thriller, greeting everyone backstage with his signature charm and warmth. Whoopi Goldberg opened the show with her usual grace, introducing the guests to thunderous applause from the audience. Brad settled into his seat, exuding calm confidence, ready to talk about his work. Sarah Haynes kicked off the interview with enthusiasm. "Brad, tell us about the preparation for these incredible scenes in the film. How did you get ready for such challenging roles?" she asked, genuinely curious. Brad smiled, his eyes lighting up. "Sarah, the preparation was intense. I worked with the best directors and trainers to really dive into the role. For me, it's all about authenticity. When you're fully immersed in the character, the audience feels it. That's what I love about acting." Sonny Hostin leaned forward with interest. "And what was it like working with your co-stars on set? They were phenomenal, right?" Brad grew even more animated. "Oh, absolutely. Everyone on that set brought their A-game. When you're filming intense scenes, you need complete trust in your team. We became like a family, and that collaboration made the film special." The conversation flowed smoothly and naturally. Brad shared amusing behind-the-scenes stories, and the audience was captivated, hanging on his every word. However, Joy Behar, who had been silent the entire time, sat with her arms crossed, her face betraying a calculated expression. For nearly 10 minutes, she hadn't said a word, but her silence spoke volumes. Finally, Joy leaned forward, and the shift in her posture instantly changed the atmosphere in the studio. Brad paused mid-sentence, noticing her movement, and the other hosts fell silent. Joy fixed him with a cold stare and spoke with a sharp tone that cut through the warm vibe. "Brad, let's talk about something I'm sure our viewers really want to know about. You've long supported certain charitable initiatives and foundations, but some of them raise serious questions. There are opinions that you use your fame to promote organizations criticized for questionable practices. How can you justify supporting initiatives that many say cause harm?" The studio fell silent. Sarah's mouth dropped open in shock. Sonny shifted uncomfortably, and Whoopi's eyebrows shot up as she glanced between Joy and Brad. Brad's smile vanished, his face turning serious, his posture guarded. He leaned back in his chair, his jaw tightening as he processed the unexpected attack. When he spoke, his voice was calm but firm. "Joy, I came here today to talk about my film and my work. I believe in freedom of choice, and I have the right to support the initiatives I find meaningful. I don't think it's appropriate to attack someone's personal beliefs on national television, especially when they have nothing to do with the project I'm here to promote." Joy leaned in closer, her voice growing even more aggressive. "But Brad, you can't just brush off serious concerns. There are people who claim these organizations have caused them harm, that they've lost contact with their families, faced pressure, and manipulation. As someone who publicly supports these initiatives, don't you feel any responsibility for the pain they may have caused?" Brad was clearly trying to keep his composure, but his patience was being tested. "Joy, I think you're misinformed about a lot of things. I don't support any actions that harm people, and I'm outraged at the suggestion that I've somehow caused pain by doing what I believe in." Joy's response was swift and sharp. "Outraged? Really, Brad? Is that outrage because you're being asked tough questions about organizations accused of serious violations? Or is it because you can't answer those questions?" Whoopi tried to intervene. "Maybe we should?" But Joy cut her off with a sharp look and a dismissive wave. "No, Whoopi, this is important. Brad came on our show, and our viewers deserve honest answers." Brad gripped the arms of his chair, his face showing restrained anger. "Joy, you're being disrespectful not just to me but to millions of people who share my views. You're taking isolated cases and using them to smear entire initiatives. That's what prejudice is, and I won't sit here and let you do it." Joy smiled coldly. Brad, I'm not attacking your right to believe what you want. I'm questioning your judgment in supporting organizations that, according to many, have caused pain to others. And honestly, your reaction right now proves I've hit a nerve. If your beliefs were as pure as you claim, you wouldn't be so defensive. Anger crept into Brad's voice, becoming more noticeable. Defensive? You've ambushed me on national television, attacking my personal beliefs, and you call my reaction defensive? Joy, what you're doing is creating division where there doesn't need to be any. This first part of the story only begins to unravel the tension that erupted between Brad Pitt and Joy Behar. Did Brad do the right thing by standing up for himself? Or did Joy have the right to ask such pointed questions? Share your thoughts in the comments and stay tuned for the continuation of this incredible story. In the first part, we witnessed how Brad Pitt's interview on The View spiraled from a friendly discussion about his new film into a tense confrontation with Joy Behar. Her aggressive questions about the charitable initiatives Brad supports put the actor in an uncomfortable position, and the studio atmosphere became electric. In this second part, we'll recount how the conflict reached its peak when Brad Pitt lost his patience and Joy Behar refused to back down, pushing the situation to a boiling point. Joy Behar didn't relent, her voice growing sharper. Brad, you call it prejudice, but I'm just asking questions that concern many people. You use your fame to promote organizations accused of serious violations. Don't you think it's your responsibility as a public figure to address these accusations? Brad Pitt, his anger increasingly evident, leaned forward, his voice cold and sharp. Joy, you're not asking questions. You're making accusations without any evidence to back them up. You want me to defend myself against rumors and speculation you're presenting as facts. That's not journalism. It's bullying. Joy smiled, but a spark of triumph flashed in her eyes. Bullying? Brad, I'm holding you accountable. That's what journalists do when someone with your fame supports controversial initiatives. You can't just dodge tough questions by hiding behind your charm. Brad clenched his fists, his voice quiet but dangerously sharp. Joy, you call this journalism? You ambush me on national television, attack my beliefs without a shred of concrete evidence. You want a show, not the truth. Sunny Hostin tried to intervene, her voice trembling with tension. Maybe we could go back to talking about the film. But Joy cut her off sharply. No, Sunny, this is important. Brad uses his platform to promote organizations that, according to many, have harmed people. Our viewers deserve to know the truth. Brad stood up abruptly, his face flushed with anger. The truth? Joy, you're not looking for the truth. You're looking for a sensation. You're accusing me of things I have no part in, and you're doing it in front of millions of people. This isn't journalism, it's slander. Joy shot up from her seat, now standing face to face with Brad. Slander? Brad, the truth is a defense against slander. And the truth is that the organizations you support have a documented history of issues. There are testimonies, there are court cases, there are people who've shared their pain. Brad fired back sharply. Documented by whom, Joy? Disgruntled individuals with personal grudges? Journalists chasing sensational headlines? You take isolated stories, strip them of context, and use them to smear entire initiatives. That's not truth. It's manipulation. Whoopi Goldberg, who had been trying to stay neutral, finally interjected with firmness in her voice. Okay, I think we need to take a pause and go to a commercial break. But Joy spun around to face her. No, Whoopi, we're not taking a break. Brad needs to answer for his actions. Brad, who had started to remove his microphone, paused and looked directly at Joy. Answer for what, Joy? For believing in something that gives my life meaning? For supporting initiatives that I believe make the world better? You're accusing me of crimes I didn't commit and calling it journalism. This isn't journalism, it's a witch hunt. Joy, her fury now unmistakable, raised her voice to a near shout. A witch hunt? Brad, I'm asking you direct questions about organizations accused of serious violations. If you can't answer them, that's your problem, not mine. Brad tossed his microphone onto the chair and took a step toward the edge of the stage. Joy, I came here to talk about my film, a project I'm proud of, made with a team that poured their hearts into it. Instead, I've been subjected to an attack on my beliefs based on rumors and lies. I won't be your victim. Joy, refusing to back down, followed him, her voice trembling with indignation. Victim. Brad, the victims are the people who've suffered because of the organizations you support. The victims are those who've lost their families, who've faced pressure and manipulation. You can't just walk away when the conversation gets uncomfortable. Brad stopped at the edge of the stage and turned to face her one last time, his voice cold and final. Joy, this stopped being a conversation the moment you decided to attack my beliefs instead of talking about my work. You're using people's pain to create a scandal and boost your ratings. That's not journalism. It's exploitation. He turned to the audience, addressing the camera directly. Ladies and gentlemen, I came here today to talk about a film made by talented people who worked incredibly hard. Instead, I've been subjected to an attack based on prejudice and lies. I won't be part of this. With those words, Brad Pitt walked off the stage, leaving Joy Behar standing alone, still shouting after him as the cameras continued to roll. The studio audience sat in stunned silence, witnessing the aftermath of one of the most explosive interviews in television history. Whoopi, finally, spoke quietly. Well, I guess we definitely need that commercial break now. This scandal became a turning point that left everyone questioning. Did Brad do the right thing by walking off, or should he have stayed to keep defending himself? Were Joy Behar's questions legitimate, or did she cross a line by turning the interview into a personal attack? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't miss the latest updates on this story.